Hello again, and welcome back to Illegally Cited. This is BGFH, and I am back again for some more iOS accessible game content for you. And I've actually downloaded several games. I've covered, I think I've covered one or two of these games in the past, but I don't remember. I'd have to look at my other playlists, my accessible games playlist. But I am going to cover some more of these Blindfold games that are available for iOS. They started out with, I think, what was it, like the Blindfold Racer, which, and then they've branched out. They've been cranking out games like crazy the last 2-3 years. I'm trying to remember when they first started making these, but I downloaded like probably a good dozen of them earlier, and some of them I've played before, some of them I haven't, and some of them I've just been really curious to see how they adapt. Some of them are original type content, but a lot of them are actually taking your kind of more mainstream type of games, be them word games, card games, or simple arcade games, all kinds of different styles of gameplay, and trying to make them accessible. So I actually have a whole folder here. Blindfold games. Oh, I stand corrected. I have 15 apps, although a couple of them are your kind of launchers or whatever. You have the Blindfold RS games, which is more of your, I think, like your multiplayer stuff. I haven't looked at that stuff too much. And then your Blindfold games, which kind of just lists your it's kind of like your launcher for like any games that you've downloaded, and then you can also see which ones you haven't. Now, I'm not going to grab every single one of these. I probably won't do a video for every one of the Blindfold games, but I am going to cover at least the ones that I am genuinely interested in, both because I like that kind of game, and also because I want to see how they have adapted it to be accessible. So I'm genuinely curious. So the first game we are going to take a look at is I want to look at Blindfold Invaders, because this is the one that really prompted me to really start downloading these games again, because I've known about them for a while, but I haven't gotten around to getting back to these. So let's launch some Blindfold Invaders. So yeah, it's our other games. So when you start up one of these games, if you don't have every single one of them downloaded, it'll prompt you to like, hey, check out our other games. And which, sometimes you may or may not want to do. In the upper right-hand corner, there is a skip button.
Welcome to Blindfold Invaders. To learn how to play, tap the help button.
Now, because it uses its own, they use their own text-to-speech, you are going to get to hear those the announcements through the direct feed. Anything with voiceover, however, you are not, because Apple still has not fixed its AirPlay mirroring issue for voiceover. So we're just going to have to deal with that. I should probably, I will go. This is about how fast I would probably have the speech, but for the sake of the video, I will show you both how you can adjust the voices and how and slow it down just so you can. So I know some people can't understand the speech quite as quickly. So on the top here we have the different modes that we can play, and then always on the bottom you have a few different options like current game scores, help, settings, and get upgrades. I'll cover these in a minute, but let's go into settings. And I want customize voices. So on all these, basically, the nice thing about these Blindfold games is once you understand the basics of how some of the mechanics of each game are going to be a little bit different, but like the interfaces are going to be very similar. And some of the like concepts and overall design is the same, like how you get credits to play the games and different things like that. So I'll go through that in a minute, but let's So speed is fast. So basically, you go under settings, you go under like you adjust your voices, and then you have like a little paragraph that that describes, hey, you can adjust your voice settings. So you can adjust the speech for your actions, the opponent or dealer. So like if you're doing some sort of like multiplayer where you're taking turns with the computer, you can have those as different voices so you can kind of tell when it's your turn or whatever. So I'm going to, if I flick to the right, there's a more info button. I'll double tap that and a little pop-up menu comes up. Let's set speed. I can also set pitch and different things. So I'm on fast right now. I do wish, I know that I'm on fast because that's what I turned it to earlier today. I kind of wish that it would say checked, like, so that you know which one is currently highlighted. I think that's one minor improvement that they could do is maybe add a checked, just like check indicator like you would under your regular settings in iOS. That way you know which one is being selected.
This is how your actions will sound.
Okay, that's not terrible. So that's medium. Okay, so let's back out of... Oh, wait. Okay, save. So in the upper left you have cancel, upper right you have save. So under options, I'll kind of tell you what VoiceOver says just because, I can only get VoiceOver to go so loud.
Game settings, heading. What moves your cannon? Now it is swing.
So Blindfold Invaders is basically Space Invaders. They're your classic arcade game that everyone used to play back in the day, or I played it on the Atari 2600. I think I even had the Game Boy version at one point. You're a little cannon at the bottom, and you shoot aliens that are coming down in like they come down in like a grid. You've got rows of aliens that kind of go back and forth, and once they go down to the planet, you lose. They've invaded. So you're trying to shoot these little aliens. And I can choose in this game, do I want to use more of like a swing, like where I kind of turn in my chair, or rotate to move, or I can do a tilt. Right now I'm doing the default, which is the tilt, or the swing, that's what they call it. So distance from planet, that's basically like a difficulty setting where like right now it's set to far, which means it's going to take longer for them to get to me, which makes it easier. If I wanted to bump up the challenge a little bit, I could make it closer so that yes, they're always going to get closer as it is, but if they're starting closer, it's going to take less time for them to get to the planet. Also, the bombs are going to take less time when they're shooting them at me. So use edge warnings. That's like when the aliens are bouncing left and right. They'll kind of indicate more like when they're getting close to the left and right. Targeting, you can, what is it? I think you swipe down with 2 fingers. You actually do want to read the help, the manual in these games, because like I know how to play Space Invaders. So I just went in and played it for the first time. I'm like, oh, okay, this is easy enough. But then I looked at the help just to see. And they've added some things in there that, like I said, I didn't even know that they had, like this targeting thing. Basically, if you have the targeting on, as you're moving, it will tell you, like, because you're trying to line up the shot, it'll tell you, like, 0 if there's no enemies above you, or 3 if there's a column of 3 enemies above you, just so you're making sure that you line up your shot. Because this isn't like, Judgment Day or something like that where you're fighting like 1 or 2 enemies at a time. You have a whole grid. So like when I was first starting this, I was kind of thinking, well, why, I wish there were more stereo effects, like as they, it would pan if you get more left to right. But you can't really do that because there can potentially be, like 30 enemies on screen at once. And there's really no way to indicate that. So basically it'll just tell you when the formation bumps against the left or the right of the screen. So that's how this is a little bit different than a couple of the other games that I've shown you in the past, like where you shoot from the bottom.
Common settings. Heading. Glass talking sound effects. Now it is off.
So you have your common settings for your Blindfold series of games. So that's your settings.
Done.
Let's back out of that.
Main menu. Main menu. Rows 1 to 5 of 6. Practice mode.
So I'll show you practice mode just to really quick show you what it's like. Now this, the way this works is you get coins. When you download the games are free to start with. And you get, I want to say 10 coins. And when you play a mode, you're playing a game. You use a coin. You can earn other games. You can earn more coins by sometimes going in and watching videos, like ad videos, just like you would in any other kind of a paid or any kind of like a regular mobile app. You can watch a couple of videos and then you can earn a coin that way. Or if it's a game you really like, actually before I go into the game, let's do that. Let's go into
Get upgrades. Button.
Get Upgrades.
Buy or upgrade game. Restore. Button.
So I can buy or upgrade a game. So
Restore. Button.
I can restore the game. So if I'm putting this on a new device, I can log in and be like, oh, hey, you already own this game. So boom, we'll unlock everything for you.
Buy or upgrade game. Heading. Done. Button. 20 coins. $0.9920. More games of Invaders.
So if I'm just going to play it for a short while, I could buy 20 coins for, what was it?
20 coins. $0.9920. More games of Invaders.
For $2. Or, why would I do that if I could?
Unlimited coins. $4.99. Unlimited game.
$5, I can get unlimited. So you can unlock it so you never really have to watch an ad again, and you can support the developer. So, if there are games that I really like, I'll probably throw a few bucks his way, their way, because, like I've said in other videos, like the developer, it takes resources, it takes time and effort and money and all that kind of stuff. So, yes, it's nice you can get it for free, but if it's something you're going to play, please support them. Please do.
Health pack $1.9. Health pack $1.99 increases your health as you score.
So health pack. Now the one thing I'm not sure about is I don't know if you're buying one health pack at a time or if you buy the health pack, it's like a permanent unlock power up. That I'm not entirely clear on. But basically, like when I kill enemies in the regular game right now, I'm just going to kill them and add to my score. But if I buy this health pack, I can, every time I shoot something, I will get a point of health back. So you start with 100% health, and every little enemy that you kill, you can regain some of your health back or even max it up even more if you're still at 100%.
Done.
So let's go done, and let's play a game.
Main menu. Medium game.
Okay, let's go back up. We're going to go to practice so it can explain.
To go back to the main menu, swipe up with 3 fingers. Starting game, practice mode. Level 1 has 2 rows of 5 invaders worth 1 points each, and is rated very easy. Swipe up to begin.
All right, so it doesn't really require any more description than that. Let's swipe up. So you hear the psh, that's them shooting their little missiles or bombs down at me. If I shoot, I tap the screen. You hear the little shattering glass. That's me shooting an alien. And I can turn my body to kind of go left and right on the screen. There are very simple visuals to represent the enemies. And I'm doing this pretty much by audio. Now, actually, I'm going to let him try to shoot me. See that clink? That means that I got hit. So you hear this kind of a beep, beep, beep. That means get out of the way. Now if I swipe down,
0, 0, 0, 0, 0.
so that's my target.
0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0.
So here to go 1.
1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0.
Let's turn that off.
0, 0, 0.
So I swipe up with 2 fingers to turn it off. If I swipe right with 2 fingers, uh-oh, ow. Oh, I thought I could swipe left and right. Maybe.
You completed this level by destroying 10 invaders and you scored 10 points, plus 67 health points for a total
Yeah,
of
so I
77
lost health
points in
because
this
I was
level. You
explaining
saved the
things and I
planet.
wasn't really
You should
paying
try the easy
attention.
level now. Game is over. Swipe up with 3 fingers to return to the main menu, or
All right.
swipe up with 1 finger to play again.
So that's just a practice round. I could swipe up with 1 finger to retry, but I'm going to go swipe up with 3 fingers because we're going to go back to the main menu here. Come on, video. Uh-oh. Okay, it finally caught up with... I was watching my computer screen and it was not catching up. Uh-oh. Actually...
Voiceover off. Voiceover on. Blindfold. Easy game.
So I'm not going to go to easy. We're going to... Because that is pretty easy. I know how to run Space Invaders. So we're going to... Just to make the video more interesting, we're going to...
Harder game.
Yeah, let's do harder. We can go easy,
Medium game.
medium,
Harder game.
harder.
Difficult game.
Oh, you know what? Let's just go for broke. Difficult.
Using
Here we
1
go.
coin to play. You have 5 coins left. To get more coins, press buy or upgrade game. To go back to the main menu, swipe up with 3 fingers.
All right.
Starting game. Difficult game. Level 1 has 2 rows of 11 invaders worth 1 points each, and is rated easy. Swipe up to begin.
So it tells you how many rows of invaders. Like I said, it's basically a grid. Think of it like, you line up a whole bunch of things, you from top to bottom, you've got like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows of enemies. They're going back and forth within the boundary of the screen, and each time they hit an edge, they inch downward towards you a little bit. So you want to kill as many of them as quickly as possible so that they don't inevitably reach the bottom. Here we go. Now if I shoot too fast, you hear that boop? Your cannon only can shoot so fast. Now I already got hit. Okay, we hit another one. So let me turn my targeting on.
0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 0,
Ah,
1, 1, 0, 0,
I got hit by the bomb because I was trying to hit the enemy.
0, 2, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 0.
So here it say like 1 or 2. And the trick with Space Invader... Oh.
Chris.
I'm going to reject your call. Because I'm in the middle of recording a video. I will call you back in a little bit. See, that's the funny thing is I put my phone on Do Not Disturb, and what good does it do? I still get phone calls. I still get notifications. Like, I don't know what Do Not Disturb does. Because I purposely put that on, and it still doesn't work, so I don't frickin' know. But what I was saying before I got that interruption was that it's not just what is above you, like you hear the 1 or a 0, whatever, especially when you get fewer enemies on the screen. What you have to get used to is you're listening to, like, you hear things in the left or right speaker, and if you hear the sound on the right, that means the enemy is going to the right, and then if you hear the left, the enemies are going to the left. It probably sounds a little bit too cluttered as far as sound effects go right now, but if you were playing it, you would figure it out.
You completed this level by destroying 22 invaders and you scored 22 points, plus 80 health points for a total of 102 points in this level. Your total score for the game so far is 102 points. Starting level 2, this level has 3 rows of 11 invaders worth 1 point each, and is rated easy. Swipe up to begin.
But what I was getting at is that, so you have to listen to, are they panning left, are they panning right? But what you want to do is not just listen for like the targeting what's directly above you, because that changes so quickly, especially when there's a lot of enemies on the screen. You can just kind of fire and you're bound to hit something most of the time. But so where the targeting comes in is when you have fewer enemies and you're not quite sure where the enemy is. So you can kind of pan back and forth and go, aha, there you are. But the thing is you, in Space Invaders, even you're playing it visually, the trick that, beginner players don't, the trap they fall into is you want to shoot where the enemies are going. You want to anticipate by sound or by visual where the enemies are going to be, not where they are. Because if you shoot, especially as, there are fewer enemies, they're going to be a lot harder to hit. And you want to shoot them where they're going to be because they keep panning back and forth. So yeah, let's do a couple more rounds here, and then we'll wrap up this video. So it looks like they turned the targeting computer off in between rounds, which is good because I don't want it on right now. I thought there was a way that I don't remember what the gesture is. Oh, is it 3 fingers maybe? No. There is a way that I can ask it how many aliens I have left to kill, but I don't remember what the gesture is. I'd have to look under the manual again. We're just going to keep playing here. And to speed things on, well, you know what? No, I'm not going to use my vision for this level. Maybe the next level I will, just to see if it's much different. I'm trying to do this completely by audio. That's why I'm missing a lot, because it's... Okay, there we got one. There we got one. So I've killed enough that maybe I want to turn my targeter on. Oh, I heard a 1 over there, so there's... There we got him. Okay, we got a couple... Oh, I got hit. This would be much easier with like a left and right, an actual physical button. Ah, I got hit again. Okay, there he is. Ah, I just missed him. So you kind of get used to, like, especially depending on where you are, you kind of get used to, like, you hear them panning left and right, like how long it takes, how many seconds it takes to get from the left or right.
Destroying 33 invaders,
you can kind of anticipate where they're going to be.
Plus 80 health points for a total of 113 points in this level. Your total score for the game so far is 215 points. Starting level 3. This level has 4 rows of 11 invaders worth 1 point each.
All right, let's see how I do.
Easy. Swipe up to begin.
Let's see how I do visually. So I think some of the like normal and easy, I think have, what they say, 8 levels. Hard, I think, might also have 8, and then difficult, what they say, like 32 levels. And there's even what they call it, a century mode, which is you actually have to do 100 levels, and they're random as to whether they're going to be hard or easy, or different difficulties on each level. Because the thing is, the enemies will move faster, or they'll shoot bombs more frequently, so you want to take care of that. But now the other strategy that I didn't mention about the Space Invaders is that you want to shoot not in the middle so much right away. You want to shoot toward the outer side, the outsides of the level, because what's going to make the enemies drop quicker is if they keep, if there's more enemies going, if there's more enemies lined up left to right, there's not as much space for them to have to go back and forth, meaning that they're going to bounce against either side more quickly. Where if you only have like a couple columns left, like visually I have 2 columns right now, they have to move a lot more left and right across the screen before they, before they're allowed to go down. So yes, you want to kill the ones on the bottom, but you actually want to kill the ones on the side so that there's more room for them to maneuver, meaning they can't get to you as quickly. Hopefully I explained that well enough, but here we go.
You completed this level by destroying 44 invaders and you scored 44 points, plus 100 health points for a total of 144 points in this
Alright, I
level.
didn't even lose any
Your
health
total
that
score for the
time.
game so far is 359 points.
Alright, let's do one more level.
This level has 5 rows of 11 invaders worth 1 point
5 rows of
and
11.
is rated easy. Swipe up to begin.
So I'm not going to look at the screen this time again. We're just going to play. Oh, I already got hit. So you're hearing a bunch of shattering because there's a whole bunch of aliens everywhere. I'm shooting too fast. Now the other thing you can do, I think if you swipe, what is it? You swipe left or right, you can actually increase the rate of fire that you shoot, but you do that at the sacrifice of a point of health. So there's actually like 3 different fire speeds, but on the middle one you lose 1 point of health, and if you speed it up to a really fast rate of fire, you're actually going to lose, was it 2 points of health each time you fire your weapon. So you're going to have to be really accurate or not shoot as fast. So you kind of have to balance how quickly you're going to do things with the difficulty and different things. So this actually works really interestingly. Alright, cool.
You completed this level by destroying 55 invaders and you scored 55 points, plus 90 health points for a total of 145 points in this level.
You lose 10 health
Your total
per
score
hit,
for the game so far is 504 points.
So we're going to go to the main menu here, exit out of there. But, so there you go. I've played like 4 or 5 different levels of Audio Invaders, or not Audio Invaders, Blindfold Invaders, I should say. But, yeah, I was genuinely curious how they would turn a game like this, that's really visual, into an audio escape, because you have so many enemies to deal with. And I was just curious how they were going to kind of make the playfield accessible by audio alone. So, and I think they did a pretty good job. I kind of wish there would be a way to where they could kind of pan the sound a little bit, but just because there's so many enemies, I just don't think that's really realistic, especially when there's a lot of enemies. They're kind of going back and forth pretty quickly because they don't have much room to maneuver. But yeah, this is perfectly playable. It is totally voiceover accessible, but it is self-voicing, and I did not turn voiceover on, so like when you get into a game, it kind of seems to override voiceover and let the play area, you can do your gestures that you want to do, your tap or your swipes to do certain commands and whatever. But then when you jump out to your main menu, you're good, and you can use voiceover. So yeah, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to add these accessible Blindfold games to my iOS low vision or iOS accessible games video playlist, but I might actually just do a separate Blindfold games playlist, just because there are so many of these things, and there's going to be more, I'm sure, in the future. So I'm going to put this in 2 different places. So if you just want to catch up on all the Blindfold games that I cover, you can check that playlist out, or you can just peruse through them in the ordinary iOS accessible games series. So hope you guys enjoyed it. Follow me on Twitter at BGFH79. I'm going to be recording a lot of these. Like I said, we've got like probably about 12 or so of these that I can... there's way more than that, but just the ones that I've really wanted to cover right away. Yeah, we're going to cover more of these in the future. I'm going to space these out a little bit, because there are not near as many accessible games as there are mainstream games or VR titles. So we're going to space them out. And if I find other accessible games, I will include those as well. But yeah, this should give us some accessible games to play with for a little while. So hope you guys enjoyed it. Follow me on Twitter at BGFH79. And until next time, I will talk to you guys in the next one. Later.